Iran says it's yet to decide whether to attend a new round of peace talks with the US this week, casting more uncertainty on the prospect of ending the war. Tehran says it's due to the contradictory signals received from the American government. The initial talks in Islamabad earlier this month ended without a deal, and both sides have since accused the other of breaching a temporary truce that's set to lapse on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked by Iran, with shipping traffic mostly at a standstill. Well, we can get the latest with our correspondent Reza Sayah in Tehran for us tonight. Good evening to you, Reza. So still much shrouded in uncertainty then regarding whether Tehran will send a delegation. What are you hearing from where you are?
Well, from Tehran's point of view, from what we're hearing from the foreign ministry, there is certainty. The certainty is they're not going to attend the talks unless Washington makes a gesture, makes a goodwill gesture, namely lifts the U.S. naval blockade. And that hasn't happened yet. Obviously, all day the big question was, would Iran attend these talks in Islamabad, Pakistan? Obviously, they did not. Today, Tehran, the foreign ministry, made it clear that the reason was because of actions taken by Washington, U.S. President Donald Trump, namely that U.S. naval blockade. The foreign ministry also saying that Washington is making excessive demands and not acting in good faith. However, they have left the door open. The impression here is if President Donald Trump lifts the U.S. naval blockade, blocking ships going to and from Iranian ports, or if Washington make some sort of goodwill gesture, some sort of substantive, tangible gesture, Iran will consider attending the talks, perhaps later in the week. But at this point, their position is they're not going to attend the talks as we rapidly approach the end of the ceasefire agreement on Wednesday.
And Reza, Donald Trump said earlier this evening that the deal he will make with Iran on curbing its nuclear program will be, quote, far better than JCPOA. But we haven't had any sign of concession on this front from Tehran, have we?
We haven't had any signs of concessions on the nuclear front. The issue with Iran's missile program and the ties to its proxies, Iran's demand for the U.S. to move its forces from the region. So there are many issues and wide gaps remaining, no indications of these gaps narrowing. But if you zoom out a little bit and take a look at Tehran's position, we may be getting the first look at Iran trying to impose a new security order in the region, a new geopolitical dynamic in the region vis-a-vis the Strait of Hormuz. Remember, this is a pressure lever that Iran didn't have prior to the war. Now it has it, and it clearly sees the Strait of Hormuz as an opportunity to address and guarantee its security interests. And moving forward, it says that this is how it's going to be. That if we're threatened, Tehran says, if Washington does not abide by any kind of agreement, Iran will clearly pull that pressure lever like it did a couple of days ago when it closed the Strait of Hormuz. This is the new dynamics, according to Iran. All eyes on Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump, will he concede this new reality, or does he have a strategy to pressure Iran to back down? We'll see.
Reza, thank you very much indeed, as always, for bringing us those updates from Tehran.